Hi, my name is Jody Lachlan. I just wanted to share with you today a little bit about why I am participating in March for Babies and how Hydrops Fatalis has affected me. In June of 2016, my husband and I became pregnant with our first child, and we're so excited to be becoming a family of three. At week 20 in our pregnancy, we went in for our anatomy scan, and there was a little bit of extra fluid around our baby's heart. And so they sent us to maternal fetal medicine to further investigate. At maternal fetal medicine, they thought that possibly our baby could have a heart defect. And so they sent us to a cardiologist who did an echocardiogram and determined that our baby's anatomy was normal and he was not concerned. So my husband and I were again hopeful, and we went back to maternal fetal medicine. So this was now a week later, so now we're at about week 22 of our pregnancy. And just in that week, from the cardiologist to back to maternal fetal medicine, the fluid had again changed, and our baby had fluid now around her heart and also above her diaphragm. And this was the first time my husband and I heard the words Hydrops Fatalis. I never had heard of this condition before. It was explained to us that it is a condition where fluid accumulates around two or more compartments. For our daughter, it was around her heart and her diaphragm, and that the prognosis is often very poor. And this condition can be caused by a variety of different diagnoses, and none of which were evident with our daughter. But they ultimately told us that they would recommend terminating, and this because it often just ends in tragedy and loss. But they also offered to do an amniocentesis or send us over to CHOP for a second opinion. So we went to CHOP the following week, about week 23 in our pregnancy, and we had another scan there. At this point, the fluid again was improving, and the physicians at CHOP told us that it likely was viral and that our daughter was fighting this, and that she was going to be okay. But they still recommended being scanned, and they still recommended an amniocentesis just to make sure we weren't missing anything. So the following week, week 24, we went in and we had an amniocentesis done. And at that procedure, the ultrasound showed that, again, fluid was back. Now it was still increased around her heart, and it was also now around her lungs. And at this point, they recommended putting shunts in her lungs to drain the fluid because they were not going to be able to develop properly if they were being compressed. So about week 25 to week 26, we had the first procedure done for our daughter, and we had a shunt placed in her right lung to help drain the fluid and expand that lung. And then at week 27, we had a second procedure done to place a shunt in her left side and drain fluid from around that lung. At week 28, the lungs were expanded, the shunts were working, and my husband and I were again really hopeful that it was going to be okay and our daughter was going to make it. At this point in our pregnancy, we were getting scanned twice a week. So it was a Monday night. I was 30 weeks pregnant. And we had an appointment that Tuesday morning for just a checkup. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I said to my husband that I hadn't felt our daughter moving. And we had a Doppler at home, so we checked her heartbeat, and it was still strong. It was 1:45, and so I thought, she was maybe just having a quiet night, and it was going to be okay. And we went in for our scheduled appointment the next morning, and she still wasn't moving a lot. The blood flow between her and I had decreased, and the doctors told us that she was in distress, and the best option at this point was to have a C-section and give her a chance outside the womb. So Tuesday, December 13th, we had a C-section. Our daughter was born at 6:15. They took her right to a resuscitation room to drain the fluid that was around her heart. And at that point, they tried to intubate her to help her breathe. But her lungs just were too underdeveloped from the fluid that had been around them. And after 32 minutes on Earth, she passed away and is not suffering anymore. Those 32 minutes with her, our time in the OR, our time we got to spend with her at the hospital was the most precious time of our lives. It was when my husband and I became mom and dad, and we wouldn't change any part of our journey with our daughter. But we do wish for a future where there are better diagnoses and better interventions for hydrops fetalis. There is just so much that's still unknown. My husband and I have no answers as to why this happened to our daughter. And we just pray that in the future, through research and through spreading the word and awareness of hydrops fetalis, that families and babies don't have to suffer. And we pray that Noelle helps us to spread the word, helps us to raise awareness, and we pray that Noelle watches over all the families who are going through this tragedy, and that someday hydrops is a condition of the past. We're very thankful for everyone who has supported us, and we pray that we are part of this organization for years to come, and that we see one day the success of the research that we are funding. Thank you.